Now, when you come up the steps, I want you to look to the left, okay? That's where the bombardier and the navigator will be. And then we're going to turn to the right and go up into where the pilot and co-pilots go, okay?
Sounds
so one
good.
person on the ladder at a time, right?
Okay. So once he's all the way up, then you're next, okay? That's pretty cool. We're gonna go inside the plane. Okay, go Funny. So just wait for Funny to go all the way up and then you go, okay, Christopher?
Okay.
And now it's your turn. It's a real plane. Watch your head.
Take your time and watch your head.
Okay. Perfect. Nice. Wow, that's cool.
Well, this is where your pilot and your co-pilot would be. You did see the front is where your navigator and your bombardier would be. And what happens up there is the bombardier would take over control of the airplane when he was going to be dropping bombs. So he had control of it with a Norden bomb sight, which I'll show you when we get outside. I want to get you guys through first.
Okay.
Now, your flight engineer, or crew chief rather, would stand here, and this would be his gun. He would stand up on this, his head would go up in there. You see the teeth, how the turret will rotate?
Yes.
So he can fire all the way around.
Oh, nice. 360.
Yeah, the big thing was you had to be careful you didn't shoot the tail in the back.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, if you're following something, you go like
Yes.
that. Now, these airplanes flew at 30,000 feet. At 30,000 feet, it's 60 below zero at that
Wow.
altitude, very cold. So what they did was they had those suits. Did you see the pilot out there? They
Yes.
had, I'll show you that too when we go out.
Okay.
He would have a suit on, and then he'd also like have long johns on, and in the long johns would be electric wires. And he would plug the electric wires into the side here, and that would help keep him warm because it got really cold. So cold that if you took your glove off, your hand would freeze. You couldn't touch anything metal, your hand would stick to it. That's how cold it is. So it really had to protect themselves from having that happen. You'll also see these yellow bottles, they're oxygen. Once you get above 15,000 feet, there's not enough oxygen in the air for you to breathe, you know, suffer hypoxia. So what happens is they also had to wear oxygen. Then they had a radio microphone that went around their throat. You had to have goggles because if you didn't have goggles on, what would happen at that altitude with the fluids in your eyes? It would freeze. So you had to be really careful. He wore a leather hat and then headsets over his ears so that he could talk to the people on the radio. But the instruments in there are similar to the ones that are used in modern days. You'll see the airplane with the black ball in the middle. And then you have your altitude and speed indicator. So if you'll notice also that the throttles that are split in half is the co-pilot had one and the captain had one. So if anything happened, either person could fly the plane from to the center location.
Is that like those cars when you are like learning how to drive that they both has?
Yeah,
kind
like
of
you have the
that?
dual setup. Yeah, very similar.
Cool. That's nice.
But this was more important because one of these guys could get shot very easily and the other person would have to fly the airplane.
Got it. Nice.
So you can tell that they've got the pilot and the co-pilot there, and you've got your crew chief here and their guns here. And then in the area where we're going in the back is where the bombs were. And they could carry 6,000 pounds worth of bombs. And out there they have models of the bombs, 1,000 pound. Then they have some 500s where you could take 12 of those or 24 of the others. So you could carry a lot of bombs. And the guy in the front would look through his bomb sight, and he would be the one that would release the bombs. The bomb sight is called a Norden bomb sight, and there weren't a lot of them made. Well, they were making them as fast as they could. And what happened was is they weren't enough to equip every airplane, so the lead airplane in the squadron had one. So when he dropped his bombs, the rest of the planes in that squadron would drop theirs. And if you've ever heard the expression carpet bombing, it's where you look at the ground, it just looks like bombs all over the place. That's where that came from, and that's how that happened. Okay, we're going to go through here.
Okay.
Again, watch your head, and you can see where the bombs are. There's a film that goes down onto the ground there. Is what it would look like if you were in this airplane and they were dropping bombs.
Wow. How many people can fit in this plane?
I'll cover that with you when we get back here.
Okay. You know, it looks pretty big now that you're inside. Look at there. That's cool. So that's where they drop the bombs. Okay.
You see the movie out there? It's supposed to
Yes.
look like that.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
this is
they
your
open
radio
this-
room, and this is the room where most of the crew members, while they were not fighting, would be. They would be here.
Okay.
Okay, and you know how you change a channel at home with your remote? Well, to change a channel on this airplane, you had to pull this box out and put one of those in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of work just to change out a thing.
Yeah.
And of course, while you're sitting up here and it's flying, that's what it would sound like.
Oh,
The engine's roaring. And then the Morse code coming through it. Right? Now, of course, he would have his oxygen here to be used and a place to plug in his suit, because it would still be 60 degrees or below zero up here. So it's darn cold, right?
Yep.
How'd you like to fly in
Very
this for
cold.
about 10 hours a day?
Wow.
No?
With that noise in your ear all day.
And it's twice or three times as loud as that. That's
Yes.
not how loud it is. It gets a lot louder.
And it's cold and you have to wear the suit, right?
Yeah, you do.
It's pretty heavy too, the suit, or?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, the suit's all sheepskin with leather on the outside of it, and then the suit underneath of it. But how old are you? I think you're probably, what, 9? 12. Got him, didn't I? Boys, the men that flew this plane were 17. So that's only 5 years older than you, and they were volunteered to do it.
Oh, wow.
So you could have been one on the airplane in 5 years. All right, so that's our radio. Again, oxygen for the radio operators, and this is where they spent their time. Again, the crew would stay in here until they had to get into their location, and then of course the pilot and co-pilot would be here, and the flight engineer, or the bombardier, and the navigator. They were there all the time. They didn't come off. Okay.
Nice.
Now
Okay.
this next area we're going into is
What's your head, Christopher? Funny?
where our ball turret is. This is the ball turret here. Okay. And what this is open now because it's open to the outside, but this turret would rotate like this, and the gunner would go down this way, close the hatch, and then he could rotate wherever he needed to be to fight.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Okay.
This is the way they rotate it with the handle right here?
Well,
or?
it runs on electric.
Oh, electric. Okay.
But what happened was the Germans figured out that the generator for the airplane was on the number 2 engine. So when they would attack, they would always try and shoot out number 2.
Right.
So we had to put an aux generator in back there.
I see.
But if the electric was shot and we couldn't do it, that crank was exactly for that you could crank it up and put it
Manually.
down, get him out of there. So it was a tough job. And then this is the 50 caliber machine gun. Why don't you
Wow.
grab that from me? Yeah, pick it up.
Oh, nice. Is it pretty heavy, Christopher?
Pretty heavy, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's the next job you get. No good? Okay. Of course, he's got his oxygen and his electric and everything as well. Would you like to try it too?
No, it's a try. Move it around, find it like left and right.
Now, when they originally built this, they had these guns were right opposed to one another. They were this way. And they realized that's not going to work because these guys are bumping into one another all the time. So then they staggered them and put them in a different location.
Got it.
This glass was not in here then. It was open to the air. So
Oh, wow.
you're getting a lot of air
Oof.
whooshing through here.
Yeah.
Cold, cold, cold.
You see that? This one was not there, no glass before. Other generator.
Okay, now watch your head when you come underneath here. Now this would be your tail gunner. You can see his head's up here, but the guns are down there, so they're controlled kind of remotely. If you
Oh, I
look
see.
in that door and you look at the back, you're going to see a wooden box about like this, like this. And that's what he would kneel beside that box and sit on.
Okay.
That was his place.
Oh yeah, I see the wooden box. You wanna see the wooden box? You wanna see, Christopher? So he kind of like died down or sit?
Yeah,
to-
he's sitting, he's kneeling
Yeah. Oh,
with
okay.
his butt on that block. You also notice that the control surface, this is called the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that's fabric, that's metal, this is
Oh, I see.
fabric.
Wow, that's
Now,
pretty light.
the reason why they did it in fabric was because they got shot at so much, and so much of it got torn up,
Mm-hmm.
that they could pull this off and in one night put new fabric on it and be
I
ready
see.
to go the next day, you know, working with fabric.
So
And
they
it
can
worked out.
rebuild it like right on the spot and
Yeah,
fly
they could
again.
repair it, yeah, they did what they had to do.
That's crazy how this one won't break in the air. I mean, here you touch it and it's very soft.
It's
But
like
it's
that, all
false.
that, it's stronger than you believe.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Cool. That's amazing, right? Like, look, it's pretty light, but that's huge.
Now here's a picture of how
Look one.
our gunner is going to fit in that ball turret. Doesn't look very comfortable.
Oh,
does it?
wow. Yeah. It's like you're
Yeah, see, and then he's
inside
got
your
the
mom
guns going
before you're
out.
born.
So you can tell there's not a lot of room in there. A gunner could not be any more than 5 feet tall, no more than
Okay.
100 pounds. So
Wow.
you had to
very
be pretty
small.
tiny.
So they picked up very small guys to do this job.
Now,
They are
did you wonder
perfect.
why we have a car in an air museum?
A car?
The car there? You wonder why that's there?
Nope. How come?
During the war, after we went into war in 1941, all of the you couldn't buy a new car. All the manufacturing of cars stopped. However, we would then take their production lines and turn them into another use for the war effort. Studebaker, which that car is, ended up using their auto line to build the engines for the B-17.
Oh,
So they out of their plants. This has about 300,000 rivets in it. And at the height of the war, we were building 17 of these a day.
wow.
In total, there were 12,700 of them built. 5,000 of them were lost right away. Well, you can do the math on that, can't you? If I go 5,000 times 10, what is the answer?
50,000.
50,000. That's how many men lost their lives in this airplane.
Wow. A lot.
So not too much fun. Again, all volunteer. The guys were 17 to 22 years old.
Wow.
Well, let's take a walk over here.
Amazing, man. Like, sheesh. That's why they can fit over there too. 17-year-old, maybe small kids too. No, some are already out. That's very nice inside. It's pretty long, like big. Once you're in there,
Look how much of this airplane is shot away. Now this is a painting. It's not an original photo. But look at this. Half of the elevator's gone. All of the rudder's gone.
wow.
Look how shot up it is. One engine's not running. What happened was this plane was in a fight with the Germans, of course, and it got shot up pretty bad. A lot of the crew were killed, and this pilot, although he was wounded, was trying to get this aircraft back with the people on board. The Germans sent up one of their M109s to come and shoot him down. Well, the German pilot got up and saw how bad the plane was wounded, how bad it broken up. He pulled up alongside of him and rocked his wing, and then escorted him to the edge of the English Channel and left him go back to the airfield. Later on in life, the German pilot moves to Canada. He lives 200 miles away from the pilot of that aircraft, and they meet up and they have a reunion.
Oh, wow. Did they know like they meet up or I mean that was after?
That's how they got together. They
Oh,
met
wow.
up. had conversation, and then they got back together, communicated with one another, and that's how it ended up.
Wow.
So they got to do that now. So war was an ugly thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't the last great war, it was a terrible war. And one of the great things about it was acts of humanity like that, and the fact that people were able to still be kind to one another in a bad situation.
That's nice.
Now, there's the 1,000-pound bombs I was telling you about, the big one.
Yeah.
That's a 500, and this is a 250.
Wow.
And there's the Norden bomb site. Now, remember when I told you that they could only have one per squadron because they were so scarce?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the squadron picture over there, the one in the front would find its target, drop his bombs, and then the other planes in the squadron would release their bombs, and then they would go on their way.
Let's see. Wow.
This airplane also had
1,000.
4 500-gallon gas tanks, and they were made in such a way that if a bullet penetrated them, they would self-seal. So
I
that,
see.
you just by shooting at that, you didn't lose all your fuel.
And all that was open like that, right? Like no glass, nothing.
No.
It was opening. So all the time getting air. Like these
where?
ones. This one was. This just to
No.
people can see how it looks inside, but
Yeah, that's
it
just
was all closed.
It was all
Got it,
yeah,
okay.
except for this area in here. Remember where I told you it was
that
open,
there
where
is
the
no.
gun was?
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the picture too.
Yeah.
It looks like you don't have the.
No glass in
Yeah.
it. Well,
That's
like I
crazy.
said, this was used by the fire service, so that's where it went. And remember, I told you the P-51s were the escorts. Well, there's
Yes.
a P-51 right there. That's
Oh,
what
okay,
they
that
look
one
like.
over there.
Yeah.
That's for like 2 people or.
No, that's a one-person airplane.
one-person
Yeah,
airplane.
that's
Okay.
a fighter. One-person fighter.
Wow.
So it's that was a
Oh,
really
okay.
good, one of the first long-ranger fighters that we had.
Yeah.
So it worked
That's
out.
amazing. I learned a lot in this tour.
Oh, good. I'm
Yes,
glad
it's
you
very
did.
interesting.
Good. Yeah, there's a lot to know,
That's cool
and
too.
I think a lot of the problem is that guys like this and this
Mm-hmm.
are not going to know about it unless you expose it to it. And this
Yeah.
is great that you're doing that.
Exactly.
'Cause we only learn for the future by revisiting the past. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's what we hope we can do.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you
I
so
really
much.
enjoyed it. Thank you guys for
Thank
coming
you so
by and
much.
seeing us. It was
Thank
a
you very
pleasure.
much.
You're welcome.
Thank
Nice to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to see you up there 5 years ago. Get your name.
Maybe Christopher is gonna fly a plane.
See you later.
See you. Take care.